offshore wind, solar. Dominion Energy is a leader in the clean energy transition. We're dedicated to providing reliable, affordable, safe, and clean energy as we support and invest in our communities in 16 states. Dominion Energy is building a clean energy future. Actions speak louder. Welcome to Actions Speak Louder, a program about Dominion Energy and its exciting new projects that will lead to a clean energy future. I'm Peggy Fox, Dominion Energy's Media and Community Relations Manager in Northern Virginia. Dominion Energy is committed to sustainable, reliable, affordable, and safe energy. We're laser focused on reducing emissions and achieving our goal of net zero carbon dioxide and methane emissions by 2050. One way we'll get there is with wind and solar power. We're also counting on the next generation to help with innovation to fight climate change. And that's why Dominion Energy is a huge supporter of the KidWind Challenge. It's a competition among kids who learn to design and build their own wind turbines.
The KidWind Challenge is a hands-on wind turbine design competition that engages 4th through 12th grade students in investigative inquiry through the lens of wind energy. In addition to designing, constructing, and testing their own 4-foot-tall wind turbines, students entering the KidWind Challenge examine the science and technology behind wind power, explore potential wind energy careers, and become aware of the many challenges and opportunities that a wind-powered future provides. Since 2009, the KidWind Challenge has had a dramatic impact with over 15,000 competitors from all over the U.S. and overseas. The 2016-17 KidWind Challenge season was our largest ever, with 24 state-level challenges and associated workshops. This outreach brought wind energy education to more than 35,000 students nationwide. The highlight of any KidWind Challenge is performance testing the amazing student-designed wind turbines. Students push creativity to the limit as they seek to maximize their power generation. Teams are also compelled to document and present their design process, understand the consequences of how we generate and consume electricity, and engage in a variety of challenges to gauge their on-the-spot engineering and problem-solving skills. Top state-level performers are invited to the National KidWind Challenge, typically held at the American Wind Energy Association's annual Wind Power Conference. In 2017, over 400 students, coaches, and parents came to Anaheim, California from all over the U.S. and Virgin Islands to collaborate and compete. Holding the National Challenge at Wind Power connects students to the industry as they get to walk the trade show floor, listen to speeches, and soak in the future of wind power. These experiences will last them for a lifetime. Some of them may even decide to enter this fast-growing industry. Pattern Energy is proud to sponsor KidWind and congratulates the students, coaches, and parents who participated in the KidWind Challenge. You are an inspiration to the industry. We also want to thank all of those who support this program and its continuing success.
Joining me in the studio is Remy Pangle with the Center for the Advancement of Sustainable Energy at James Madison University. Remy, thanks so much for coming up and joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
First of all, why don't you tell us what your role is with KidWind?
So at the center at JMU, I do all of our education and outreach. So I work mainly with K-12 students and educators, and one of the things that we offer for K-12 students is this competition. So KidWind is the competition that we host.
So how do kids go about joining the competition?
So we spend a lot of time throughout the fall just advertising, and usually we get a lot of students interested because their teachers have learned about the program and encourage them through a class or a club to get involved.
What if there's no one in your school that's involved? There's no teacher or anything like that. How do you get involved and join?
That's a great question. So we do have some students who get super excited, but they don't have a teacher that has the bandwidth to help them. So a lot of times the parents really step up. And that's, but we've also had interesting relationships with like the Science Museum of Western Virginia that actually prepared students in the Roanoke area. And the Makerspace up in Loudoun County has also led teams. So there's lots of different models.
And this is a wide range of ages, right?
Correct. It's 4th through 12th graders.
Wow.
Yeah.
And later on, we will have a 4th grader who's now going to be in 5th grade. She's coming on and she's a winner and she's fantastic. So be sure to stick around for that. But tell me about, first of all, we're looking at all of this very interesting, all these projects. Can you describe what's right in front of you right there?
Yeah, so this past year, our KidWind Challenge, of course, looked a little different because of COVID. And this is the kit that students received when they signed up with interest in participating in our online competition. So this year they got the full turbine, there's a generator up here, they've got everything they need to build their own blades. We even gave them an advanced nacelle that has a gearbox that they could play with to really kind of advance their understanding of physics there. But it also even came with the glue gun to attach their blades, because we just didn't know what kinds of resources they were going to have access to not being in school. So we really gave them everything they could possibly need to build at least a base model.
So before COVID, you never did this. You never sent students all this stuff. They had to think of it themselves and do that themselves.
Well, pre-COVID, we would give them some of the kind of specific parts. This generator is a specific thing they need to compete in the challenge. Everybody has to have the same generator. They would get one of these because this is a specific part that KidWind makes that makes it super easy to add your blades. And then we'd always give them a multimeter because they need to be able to measure their energy output. But the rest of that was up to them, which I can see now that it probably was an obstacle for some people to join. So this year it was actually silver lining for us to be able to do that.
Do you think it will continue? That you'll continue sending the same kits?
I'm hoping that we can continue to send these out. They're expensive kits, but they're very worthwhile for getting that team to try it the first time. Once they try it their first time, they're hooked. And then after that, they don't need as many resources.
Probably levels the playing field for a lot of kids too.
I think so.
So that's the KidWind challenge. Over here on this side is the solar challenge, right?
Yeah, so a couple years ago, KidWind diversified. So even though they're called KidWind, they do solar education as well. So a couple years ago, they started the solar structure challenge. So we still call this KidWind. It's just the solar division.
The solar division. And they make a little, like this would be their house.
Right, so in the KidWind competition, their goal is to make the most energy coming out of this wind turbine. So it's a lot of blade design, a lot of gearbox design, mechanical engineering.
And that's why they need the meter to measure the electricity coming out.
Exactly.
And the winner is who makes
the most electricity. There's a lot more to the competition, but that's the fundamental piece. The solar structure challenge is a little bit different because this is a challenge where the kids are challenged with powering something with solar. So it's not about how many solar panels you can put together. It's about how you use that power. So it gets very creative. And the technical part is very electrical engineering. They have to be able to draw a complete circuit diagram. They have to be able to know the wattage, the voltage, the amperage of their system. They have to understand all their loads. So it gets a little technical in the electrical side, less on the mechanical side.
Okay. So these are, now do you send these as well, or are these just things that they pick up and use?
So this is the kit that we sent. And this actually doesn't look too much different than what we have normally sent because a lot of people haven't done this challenge. So we need to supply them with some more stuff. So they get 2 solar panels.
Right
and
here.
Then,
here are the solar panels.
Yeah, and they're small 2-volt solar panels that we get from Vernier. But then they don't have to use those solar panels. They can use any solar panel they want for the solar challenge. Again, it's not how much, it's how you're applying it. But the other things that we provide them with are some alligator clips for creating your circuits, and then loads like light bulbs, motors, buzzers. And there's even a water pump, which the kids find so much fun.
Here's the water pump, and that would be something that they, after they make their solar panel project, they can power something. This would be powering a little water pump.
Exactly. So for instance, we may see a house, a solar structure house that has solar panels that power lights and a motor that's a ceiling fan, plus a water fountain in front, and they'll make it look fancy.
And this is your meter.
The meter is there so that they can explore the electricity coming out of that solar panel so they know how to use it, because there are questions that come with how much power and how many loads can you really power with that electricity. So there is a lot of electrical knowledge that goes in, and that's just to help them get there.
And here in the center, if we could move to this, is a solar suitcase?
Correct. So this is a fun program. This doesn't actually have anything to do with the KidWind Challenge, but we just recently ran a summer camp at JMU where we invited high school kids to come out, and they built these solar-powered suitcases. The kit actually has a lithium-ion battery and a solar panel. The solar panel charges the battery, and then the battery powers light bulbs. And the cool thing about this project, not only did they learn about solar, but they learn about global electricity access and climate change, and this gets sent to Africa to power a school in a refugee camp.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful.
So they actually write letters to the kids in the school, and they provide some artwork, and it's just a neat way for them to get some service learning at the same time as appreciating some of the big issues.
Yeah, that is just, what a wonderful project. I mean, all of these projects, but this one in particular, you know, really, I can see how it can really, you know, spark the creativity and interest. And this is it's really what we need in this country, is getting, you know, we want to tap these young minds and get them excited, because we're going to need it.
We are. This industry is booming, and we need more folks entering that industry to make sure we can build all these solar farms and wind farms.
And we need new ideas, too.
And
we need new innovation. So let's go again and talk more about the KidWind Challenge and all of your other projects, too. Is this in every state?
So KidWind is, the challenge is in many states. I want to say somewhere in the 20 to 30 range. But yeah, and for the wind side of the competition, which has been around for almost 10 years, there is a national challenge. So after Virginia has our challenge, we send winners to nationals. And then they compete against students from all over the country. This year it was virtual. Next year it's going to be in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, fun.
So we're excited about that.
So it works on first a local challenge and then a state if you win locally?
So every state kind of has their own system.
I see.
Because we've been doing this for also almost 10 years. We have so many regional events that we host that we send too many winners to nationals. So now we host a state competition. And so our winners will then compete at the state level, and then we'll send just one set of winners to nationals.
Okay. And the set is the different ages.
Correct. We have first, second, and third in both the middle school and the high school division.
I see. And again, if you didn't hear me earlier, we are going to have on one of the local winners from Northern Virginia who went on to state?
To nationals.
To national.
We
went
didn't
on,
have a
went on to the national
so.
competition, and she is something else. So stay tuned. She's bringing her turbine as well. So you want to stick around for that. It's really, really exciting.
She's amazing.
Tell me a little bit, how long have you been with KidWind, and how did it get started?
So in 2010, JMU began administering the Department of Energy Wind for Schools program for Virginia. And with that, we learned about KidWind as one of the many resources to bring wind energy education into classrooms. And then 2 years later, we offered our first KidWind competition in Richmond. And it's grown from there. So since 2012, we've, just about every year we get about 60 teams. So put that all together, it's a lot of kids and a lot of teams. And we get teams that compete every year, which is amazing. We have an amazing student in Virginia Beach who competed in elementary school. In high school, he couldn't find a teacher, so his mom led him, and he went to nationals and won for 3 years in a row, was winning the high school challenge. Now he's off to UVA. So, I mean, he's just an amazing story. We've got lots of those. Pranamya is going to be one of them, I can tell.
Right, yeah. Pranamya, yeah, she's the one, young lady coming up on the show, and she's really something. So, and you know, this is so exciting. We at Dominion Energy have onshore wind projects, but we're also building the country's largest offshore wind project, and it's off the coast of Virginia Beach. We actually have 2 wind turbines 27 miles out, the first in federal waters, and they're already spinning, delivering electricity, clean energy to the grid, which is really, really exciting, and I bet you would like to go and see them someday.
I would love to.
But I mean, it's really fantastic. We're expanding to the larger project called Coastal Virginia Offshore Wind, called CVOW, and there will be 180 wind turbines out in federal waters off the coast of Virginia Beach. Now, they're far enough out so that you really won't be able to see them from shore, but when this project is fully built in 2026, it's going to deliver more than 2,600 megawatts of electricity. That's a lot. That's like powering 650,000 homes. So think about that. I mean, that is going to be transformative when you talk about clean energy, you know, fighting climate change, and really focusing on renewable energy. And it's exciting for this state, but this is the beginning of the offshore wind pipeline. I mean, there's going to be many more projects. I heard today about a project in North Carolina that's coming online. So when and you guys at JMU are probably talking about all these wind projects as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's important for our students to know that they're entering into an industry that's going to be having a lot of growth. And we do our best to ensure that they've got access to that content that they need to become well-versed, but also internships and industry networking and things like that.
Right, yeah, it's a very, very exciting time. So how do you guys get the word out about the KidWind Challenge? I mean, do school systems around the state, tell their kids about it, and how are kids supposed to find out about it?
Yeah, we work with the Department of Education, and they distribute our notices out for us to various principals and science coordinators in all the counties. A lot of what we do is word of mouth. Teams who've done it in the past do it again, and they recruit up more teams this year. But we also attend a lot of science teacher conferences, so the Children's Engineering Convention and the Virginia Association of Science Teachers, and we'll do presentations and make sure folks can get their hands on turbines and solar panels and really experience what the kids would get into, because I think the teachers need to buy in if they're going to be the coaches. Yeah. And it's actually usually a pretty easy sell, because I mean, who doesn't want to manipulate PVC in their classroom? Like, that's super fun.
Well, and also it's just add water. It's not like you got to come up with. You're giving them all the instructions right here to do it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Is it part of the regular curriculum at some schools, or is it always like an after-school thing?
It seems to be mostly done as an after-school program. I haven't checked in a while, but last I heard that Fairfax County Schools had a built-in 6th grade wind energy unit that uses the KidWind Challenge.
And why not?
Exactly.
Why not? Why not make this part of the curriculum? Because
SOLs are changing, but
it's so I know it's so it has to fit in to make sure you meet that curriculum requirement.
This hits so many levels in terms of the SOLs, between investigating and taking data and experimental design. I mean, it hits on a lot, and then you get into the specific content of electricity and renewables and climate change and all that stuff. It's just.
Well, I imagine too that for kids learning about engineering, any kind of science, we talk about STEM and how it's so important to, especially girls, sometimes are not as interested because traditionally they haven't really been, tapped or considered. Sometimes people overlook. And they don't have, I mean, girls can learn science, math, technology just as easily as boys can.
Oh, yeah.
So by giving them something really exciting to do, not just girls, but everybody, it can really help spark that interest, don't you think?
I agree 100%. And we do see a lot of girls in our competition. We even work with women of renewable industries and sustainable energy to recognize all girl teams and female coaches at our challenges, to just really encourage them to keep moving with this.
And when young girls see an older person, an older classmate or somebody in high school, or they see women engineers, then they really get the idea that they can do it too.
Exactly. Yep. We need to set that stage for them.
Set the example. Well, it's just been really great for you to come on and explain to us what KidWind Challenge is, and anything else you'd like to tell people and how they can get involved.
No, I mean, everything is done through the KidWind website, so kidwindchallenge.org, and check it out. You find local events. If you're in Maryland, DC, Virginia, North Carolina, we have all different events everywhere in this region. So just keep an eye out there, and if you want to email me at casejmu@gmail.com, that's the easiest way to get in touch with our center.
Perfect. And you talked about how COVID changed things, and a lot of us are talking about how, it's been it'll change things for businesses as well. Where we can do stuff online now. I mean, what about, besides just the kits? Do you foresee any other changes to this project?
Well, in 2022, we plan to have another virtual challenge. I mean, because when we hold regionals, you can only do so many, and not every kid can come out. So we want to make that virtual option so that we can get as many kids involved as possible. But also, we did a lot of digital resources for coaches and for students. We had open labs on Zoom every week. We had coach calls on Zoom. We had a YouTube channel full of videos. And we even had an expert forum where kids would put a video up of a question that they have, and then we'd find an expert to answer for them. All of those things I think we'll continue to do.
Excellent. Really making it accessible to everybody.
Well, we want to get industry involved as much as we can, because I think hearing it from me is one thing, but hearing it from an engineer or somebody who works in the industry will make a bigger impact on them. So
absolutely. Well, Remy, thank you so much for coming up from James Madison University. And I got to say, I never knew that there was a Center for the Advancement of Sustainable Energy at JMU. Wonderful. So great to meet you, and I'm so glad Dominion Energy is involved with the KidWind Challenge, and we'll continue to support it.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Peggy.
All right. And we have a local winner with us. It's Pranamya Jindal, who is going into 5th grade at Center Ridge Elementary School in Loudoun County. Thanks for coming in, Pranamya. And you brought your winning design.
Yes, I did.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about it, about your wind turbine, about how you designed it.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. So my wind turbine, as you can see, the tower is pink, and that represents girls in STEM. My turbine runs on a gear system, and I've used the ratio 1/8, which gave me good results. The competition is mainly about designing the blades, and my blades are energy efficient and cost effective.
I like the design. They kind of look like a teardrop design. Why that design?
Because I researched to design my blades, and I found that the curve in the blades helps direct the wind and make it spin faster, and that point on the top helps it cut through the wind.
And what else do you? So I know a lot has to do with how you design and the specific number. You have 3 blades. Why only 3? Because you could have put more on, right?
Yeah, so I've tried a lot of different number of blades. The maximum I can do is 12 because that thing only has 12 holes in it. And
that's the little circle thing that everybody gets as part of the kit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I tried 12 blades, and then I tried 6 blades, and then I tried 3 blades. So 3 proved to actually be the most efficient.
And you have them slanted a little bit?
Yeah, they're put on a special angle. So I've tried various angles as well to see which one gives me faster speed.
When you put the angle in, I mean, do you eyeball it, or do you actually measure it?
Yeah, I have this tool. It's like a D shape, and you can use it to measure the angle.
Of course you can. Thank you so much. You are definitely going to be an engineer someday, aren't you?
Thank you.
This is so great. And what about the height of the turbine? Is that something that's given, or do you come up with that as well?
You could come up with it yourself, but I just used the PVC pipes that they gave from the kit. So this is the maximum height I can get.
And what is this, the turquoise or blue piece of equipment?
That's the gearbox. So it has all my gears that help the turbine spin faster.
I'm going to go like this so you can see what I'm talking about. And you get that, they sent you the kit, and you got that thing, and you got this base as well. They're made of PVC.
But no, I didn't get them like that. I just got all the pieces.
Yes.
And then I had to put it together.
It's like a puzzle. You had to figure it out. And the light green thing, that's the gear, correct?
Yeah, so there's 2 gears. So when my actual turbine spins, then the big gear spins. And that causes the small gear to spin. And that small gear, it spins the generator shaft, which then turns that rotational energy into electricity. And then we can use this multimeter tool to measure that energy coming out from those wires.
And this is how real wind turbines work, right?
Yeah. Yes.
It's not, I mean, it seems complicated, but it's really not, is it? It's fairly simple.
Yes.
Big. The real ones are humongous.
And they probably have more, emergency stops and weather precautions.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So, would you use a fan to blow at it to see how well it works?
Well, if it wasn't online, then they actually have this huge wind tunnel So you put it in there to measure it. But since we're doing this challenge virtually, then yes, you just get the fastest fan you can find and use your turbine. But then you'd also have to tell the judges what type of fan you're using. And then they gave us this digital anemometer, so we can measure our fan's wind speed so that it could be fair. And we know what speed our wind turbine's spinning at.
Well, this is really wonderful, and congratulations on coming up with a winning design. That is just fantastic.
Thank you.
And you won the state competition and went to nationals. And what was
Yes.
that like?
It was actually really surprising. I was really happy. I worked and I developed my blades. I researched some more. And then so we had to do a bunch of other stuff, like lots of these challenges. My favorite was the PSA video challenge. We had to create an ad for our wind turbines, and I made myself talking to myself.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Pranyamya, thank you so much for coming on. This was so fascinating, and congratulations. You did a fabulous job.
Thank you.
And, you know, talking to you, I know the future's bright because I'm sure you're going to be an engineer and you're going to come up with some great ideas for future energy systems and fighting climate change or whatever is on your agenda as you move on in your life.
Okay.
Okay.
I hope I will.
I know you will. Thank you so very much, and congratulations again for everything you did with the KidWind Challenge.
Thank you.
And if you want to learn more about the different programs that Dominion Energy supports and the Dominion Energy Charitable Foundation, just go to our website, dominionenergy.com. And thank you for joining and watching Actions Speak Louder. And always remember to put safety first.